Hello, everyone. Lee's going to be joining us in just a few minutes, caught up in life stuff. Um, so King Crimson just said in chat, I came here for the top tier buddy cop shenanigans. So thanks for joining. I have, I chose two. There were so many good ones, and this week I'm actually going to go over. I have to go through some of the picks. I hate like the last 2 weeks. I don't think went over through people's submissions. So I want to make sure to get that in today. I picked this one first. I almost didn't want to do it because it was too big for like a free paint over day. I'm like, oh man, this might be complex, but the picture was phenomenal because it's just like it's done. The composition really like speaks to me and how they were laid out. And then I I started on it because I always like to try to block some of it in. I'm like, I won't be too sure. I like to erase it first and then block in some of the colors just so I have a direction so that they're better pieces. So I started working on it, and I'll kind of walk you through the process real quick. I went with, for the background, so I erased a lot of it, and I wanted like a darker background because it's a light, kind of pink and that real light teal. So I want the miniatures to pop off the dark background. And so I was like, okay, I'll base it with purple. I did brown, and actually I ended up doing the pink later. So because I wanted to get, the pink and the purple are so close that I kind of wanted to pull some of the pink off the model and get it a bit in the atmosphere. And then I smudged some of the base around to get it more like they're on actual ground. King Crimson. Oh wait, I gotta remember to do this. Aha. I gotta remember. There's a few things I should be doing, but it's like that's why I do these all the time. I have to make them habit, or else. How do I turn this off now? There we go. Or else I don't remember them well. So put on that. I can't remember what happened next. I put on. I always try that multiply layer. So I put it on there. Oh, here we go. Lee just joined us. Let me get him in here. I think we are this screen. Bam, bam. Lee is up. I hope he can hear us.
I can hear you.
Oh, and I can hear you. So all is well in the world. As long as I don't hit the off button on my phone right now. There. I was just walking through a few steps, so I'm going to continue while that's fresh in my head here, and then I'll be right with you. So
Yeah, no worries.
I put that multiply layer on, and that was a shadow, and I have to kind of bring some stuff back. So then on overlay, I put that, and it doesn't erase it, but it goes over it with a whole nother. You'll see it here. You can see those little spots. So it in some ways, by going over it, it covers up what's beneath it in a way. You're just almost like canceling it out, but shinier. So I put those highlights on to kind of bring the life back, and I put, a little on the ground because I wanted to pull some of the ground towards us so it has a little more depth. At some point, I put some more, dust in the air, and down here, I put some more dust to kind of get it in the right direction. I brought in a sky. So I brought in a sky from a photo and dropped it in and moved some of it around. And then did that part. That was to kind of force the blue. What do we do here now? Oh, yeah, that's where I went and added more. I love this stuff. I don't even know what the layer is called. It's add, and it makes it like the color even shinier than normal. So there's something with that. So I try to do, give that nice golden glow like on the banner leading it. And now I'm going to go back and I want to make the teal on their crests like a little brighter and get some more of that in and tweak the sky a bit more to get it how I want it. All right, that was what was fresh in my head. So, so how's it going, Lee?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It was a hectic one today. Today at work has just been really, really busy throughout the day, and
Yeah.
it was, even though I was closing up, people were still coming in, and I'm just like, close at 5:30. I'm not going to serve you. So I eventually closed the doors, but then I had the little few things I had to finish off before leaving, and then the roads were a little bit sticky, but I managed to get here and surging, get changed, and freshen up a bit.
Yeah, never. What that's life. If whatever you're late, never feel like you got to rush. We'll be here, and I'll hold down the fort for a little while.
You've done a great job so far.
Thank you. Yeah, I started it. Last night when I picked one because I'm like I really wanted to do it. It had a cool angle, but then I always get all like, oh my gosh, I don't know what colors, and then I put down colors, and I'm like I don't know if I like it or hate it, and then I like do a little more. And I'm like I don't know, and then when I get it to a point I like it, I'm like further along, and it's like okay, I better stop and save some for tomorrow. But
You got a nice bit of the movement sort of thing with the way it streaks along the bottom there.
yeah,
I'm just loving the purples. I'm a big purple fan. Go purple.
me too.
Uh,
And we had talked about pink, and I was like, this one does a good job. I think on the miniatures, it still looks like fierce to me. It's like, okay, you can see, and I'm like, how do I capture it and keep it like these are like dangerous? You know what I mean? Like really like push it. And plus, I like the idea they were nice and light in the photos. And so I wanted to make them even lighter. So I was like, all right, I'll do that and keep the background, and I tried to give it almost like a slight sand or indication where I'm not spending hours painting some really super fine sand detail. So I was like, okay, I put those lines. The person who I'm going to get their name right now. I did this just so I could have their name, and now I don't know where it's at. Let me go grab it. I even tweeted Harry Sherwin on Twitter. And I mean, the composition was just awesome of this photo. They had them spaced out really well. So I wanted to go with that. And so now I'm going to play up a little more of the kind of the gold coming off. I want to lighten that teal on the flag so it's almost like a magical standard, have some of that teal streaming, and then get a little bit of it from their crests. So their crests glow a bit more. And I think I'll be really happy with this one. Oh, wait.
yeah, I would say it's, you don't often get to do sort of like whole units like this. Where
No.
you've been doing like the big feature models or the real full character models. So seeing a little sort of like unit like this is actually really quite a treat.
Thanks. And it's so cool that they had zebra. It's just like the zebra thing really works on this. And if you asked me at first, like if you just said, hey, how about zebra mounts? I'm like, man, it might be a little busy or I don't know. And to see it like this was like, and I think, yeah, I'm going to play up a little bit of the gold because I think I have it dulled. Let me see. Yeah, it is kind of gold. Like I'm wondering if the feathered part beneath the shield is kind of goldish. I think it is. Yeah, like right here. Because I'm looking for places to put sparkles.
I'm always looking for value. You're always looking
to find a place to put a sparkle in there.
Value Sparkle Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sparkle Value Wednesday.
Oh, okay. And you didn't see this, I don't think, but I messed with yours.
No, I haven't seen this, and oh my god.
So I worked on that one some. Let me do.
That is awesome.
Wait,
because I know when you sort of messaged me and said I'm gonna play with this, and I just so busy I completely forgot that you was gonna do that. Wow, that is.
It was kind of perfect for like a cover of a book, like, and so you don't get to see too many times someone has four of these titans all lined up and you took an awesome angle. Like that gives sense of scale. Like they look like buildings, you know, and they're like going off in the distance. So I was like, it was just, and I'm like, oh, you got room for a title. So I'm like, okay, it could be like a book cover. Theoretically, I probably should have lowered them just a hair or made it a little taller compositionally to
Yeah.
squeeze a title in there good, but I still can later.
But you know, with the Black Library books, they always have like the title slap bang in the center and
Yeah.
top area anyway. But you know, as like with Neil Roberts when he does his work, it always goes um, with the title, and then you see the actual piece. So it always looks epic, even with a name slapped over the top of it.
Yeah.
That is fantastic, and it's actually after last weekend with when Christmas happened in the house uh, with all my toys and books turning up. The the fluff for my Ignitum guys was saying that they use a lot more heavier Titan. So this picture and that fluff just really makes it even more awesome.
I love.
Ah,
Oh, thank you. By the way, and this is a stupid thing. I do these, and I always think I put those two little fireballs like kind of right in the air. These things, it's always I always try to sneak some in sometimes because it's like it reminds me of the old covers, like especially like the fantasy battle. They'd be like chucking these like lobbing fire magic balls everywhere. Like I see them even in the Titan pictures in 40K. You can see like these weird arcing like whatever they are. Sometimes it'd be missiles, sometimes it'd be flames. I'm like I gotta throw a couple in there, and it
well,
came
it
out cool.
could be like rubble, from the explosions and stuff.
Yeah,
It's just all sorts of stuff. Or tear gas canisters. They're in the middle of a riot,
yeah, yeah.
so that's all going on. But no, that's looking fantastic.
And I
And
really
to be
enjoy.
honest,
You had the blue, like your other pictures. I'm like, oh my gosh, like all those Titans, and then just seeing this one. Like I said, it was such a cool photo. And I also saw you were doing your modeled one that you put together. I forget the name already, but the one you did on your live stream, and the the photo you took of just the unpainted one was really cool. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm like, those things so get me all the time because you had a shadow cast on it in there, and I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be a sweet like picture. So there's a lot going on, and I keep talking to people even in Discord, and it's like, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna end up getting that thing. Oh, there it is too. That is huge. See, it looks so cool. Wait, wait, wait. Let me zoom in on this. I'm going to put you on the full screen.
trying to get the light sorted
Yeah.
out.
Look at that thing. And tell them you did it on YouTube. What's your YouTube channel so people can go?
Same as my name, Forge of Mars.
Okay, Forge of Mars. There you go.
The funny thing is, I'm renowned for painting and building stuff quite quickly. That live stream went on for 5.5 hours practically.
Yeah.
Um, I lost all sense of time, and because I was like, it was we had lots of people like interacting. Like obviously you came on as well and
Yeah.
joined in the chat, which was awesome. But I looked at it and I just realised that there was a little counter in the corner of the screen. It was like uh,
Oh.
5 hours, and I thought, oh Jesus! And I looked at my phone. And I thought, what is the time? And I thought, oh my god, I've got work in the morning.
Yeah.
So
And of course,
I,
we just get started, and of course the dogs walking. And I was in a rush today. I'm like getting a bunch of stuff done, so I didn't even like properly get to prep for the show. And I took the puppy to get a haircut, and then he's all, oh god, I said the wrong words. I'm gonna be in
a
trouble
lockdown
now.
haircut.
As soon as he heard, yeah, Ivan in a second. Oh,
So,
let me take care of this.
actually, before I left work, I got a message from Warhammer community asking to put the picture of that War Master Titan on the
Oh, did
hobby
you?
hangout. Yeah.
That's awesome. I am going to, you keep them busy for a minute. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to time lapse replay this and mute the mic for a second, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, it's yes. So hello, Crimson. Nice to nice, lovely greeting there. Obviously, because Scott was talking, I thought I'd just message you on the chat. Yeah, how is everybody? Lovely to see you all and hang out again with you on this wonderful. That's actually where I am. Is actually a really nice day outside, so it's been most enjoyable. I'll get myself into the camera a bit more and sort out this light. So yeah, apart from that, oh, thanks to also Crimson for subbing. Always appreciated. There's not a lot of content there, but I'll probably going to do some more sort of live, sort of just hangouts basically, because I work better with them, and because it doesn't, I can just do it straight upload sort of thing. I don't have to worry about editing and stuff because I don't tend to. Well, I might make the odd mistake, but I did on Saturday night because I glued the wrong part a bit prematurely and before putting the rest of it in. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, anyone else wants to join on sub, like, check out the videos. It's very simple how-to guides for Titans, obviously. But yeah, so I will definitely be doing more stuff upcoming as time goes on. Whether I have a regular day like obviously Wednesdays here with Scott and Artist Empire with the paintovers. But yeah, I've actually quite enjoyed like hanging out with you guys here and obviously seeing Scott do his work, and yeah, it's most enjoyable. So I'm glad. I'm glad you do. Yes, I was actually. I did notice something come through when I was rapidly driving. I saw a notification come up, but now it's disappeared. It was something to do with our favourite After 7 topic, which was Dune. But yeah, I think they might have actually released some extra pictures or something from the new film.
Who released what?
I was just saying when I was driving, I because where I have my phone locked up on the dash, I had something come up saying about like new images or some sort
Okay.
for the new Dune, but I can't see anything and I can't find a notification. So I may very well be hallucinating it because I knew it was going to get mentioned at some point during
It
our.
happens. Sometimes we just imagine things.
Yeah. It's just wanton desire for more stuff to come out of any persuasion. But funnily enough, that on Twitter where I tagged you in that movie thing, that miniature apothecary started.
Okay.
That
Yeah, I
just
saw that. That's the
crazy.
one I have to go. I still haven't watched that yet, but I saw some other people were going to watch it.
Oh, I found it so much more involved, and it made more sense.
Okay.
And they did change, because I don't know if you remember in the original David Lynch versions, at the end when he's got his robes and he's killed Faith Ruther and all that, and he does the big sort of speech and all that, and then suddenly he starts going like and it starts raining.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which that never happens in the books.
Okay.
And this person, Spice Diver, who done this edit, hasn't included that, so they took that bit out. So that sort of adds to it all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there's the whole part like after it. So they probably just did that to kind of sum up the movie or something, do some
which would have been a bit weird because obviously if it had been more successful, then it would have had like the follow-on movies, and it's like, well, it started raining, What are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Because as everybody knows, the Dune book series stretches over many thousands of years and takes a very long time for them to terraform Dune from desert planet to not so much desert planet.
Yeah, that was a serious epic. I never read it, but I've known about it and all that stuff, but never read the book.
Now, it sounds, well, it's not funny really. It's good for me. When I was 17, I was living with my mum in a flat in London, and I was walking somewhere. I don't know if I was going to work or college or something like that. And there was this shortcut I used to take, and I've taken the shortcut, and sitting in the middle of the floor was the book Dune. Just sitting. And like, it might have been a library book. I can't remember. I think it might have been a school library book, actually. And it was just sitting there. And I thought, well, I'm taking that. So I had that. And then about several months later, I was with a friend who wanted to go to like what they call it over here, they call like boot sales, where people turn up with your cars, with all your bric-a-brac and stuff you want to get rid of, and sell cheaply. And I picked up the rest of the books for about £2. So I had the whole collection for £2. So
hey, that's a good one of life's bargains on some of that stuff. I loved back in the 80s in comic conventions. They were just so small and niche then, and if you were really into them, now the prices are everywhere, and you just look online. Back then you could get deals on stuff and really get some good books, and that was something that was always I enjoyed that.
Well, that's a whole industry. Obviously you got Comic Con in San Diego. There's 2 or 3 Comic Cons over here. There was one in May and one in October. And then there was a collectors and memorabilia one as well. And I've done the Comic Cons a couple of times, and the last one I went to was the London Film and Comic memorabilia one. And it was purely because Lee Majors was there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm actually named after Lee Majors.
Okay.
Because my mum had a massive crush on him.
Yeah. The fall guy.
When he was the $6 million man.
Yeah, and he's the fall guy, yeah.
Yeah, and the fall guy, yeah. And so I went down there on the premise of meeting him, and I paid for a photo shoot opportunity, thing with him, so you have your picture taken and all that.
Okay.
Got down there, but then I started feeling unwell. And the photo shoot wasn't until much later in the day. And there's nowhere to sit there. It's it's not exactly a place you can just sit down and just relax or anything. So I ended up having to pay for an opportunity to meet him and have an autograph done by him, which I think I freaked him out a little bit, because the assistants come up to you before you go and meet him and said, "Okay, what name do you want signed on it?" And I went, "Lee." And then you get taken over to him, and he sees it. He goes, "Lee. Oh, that's a cool name." And I said, well, funnily enough, my mum named me after you.
Okay.
And I think he was worried that I was some sort of love child, and I was coming for paternity.
he's like, "Oh,
Dad!"
No. Oh yeah. What's funny is this probably happens to some of those actors. I'm like, wait a second. Funny enough, I'm named after you. His heart skips a beat. He's like, not again.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Oh my God! What was I doing to have such a hairy son? It was a bit surreal as well, because you got a choice of photographs to have signed, and the one that I liked the most was actually of him as the fall guy, as Colt Siebers.
Yeah.
And so I took that over, passed it over to him, sort of thing. And so he goes, "So why didn't your mum sort of name you Colt?"
Yeah.
I went, because she liked the actor. That's you.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it was a bit surreal, but met him, and yeah, so I can tick that off my list because I was never going to meet him anywhere else,
Yeah.
really.
I haven't
Oh
been like
dear.
comic book. It's been a long time since I've been to a comic book convention.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's yeah, literally whenever I've gone, I've just purely gone there for seeing all the cosplay because I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. So it's always worth just seeing them. For the work they put into those
Yeah.
sort
There's
of
like engineering going into that stuff now.
oh yeah, big time. There was one of them. Uh, oh, oh I can never pronounce her name. She's English, but she's got like a like Eastern European sounding name, like
Gotcha.
Julieta or something like that. And she was actually at one of these Comic Cons in an outfit that she made of
Yeah.
the Emperor of Mankind.
Oh wow.
So like she's going around standing about sort of 7.5 foot tall because she's like got the old padded shoes and all this power armor, holding the sword, and like you're just looking at her and you go, "Wow, that is like pretty impressive." And then you see all these other space marines or
Hmm.
Imperial Guard wandering around, doing their thing. Um, but yeah, no, there's it's just a lovely environment. Everyone seems to be really friendly. You can pose out with people. And actually, I did go in cosplay once.
Did you?
Um, yeah, because my little girl wanted to go to one, and
Oh
so I
yeah.
said, "Right, I'll take you and your friend." And I took my girlfriend Sam with me, and we went down. Sam went dressed as Arthur Dent from
Okay.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So
Yeah.
basically, just carrying a towel and dressing robe. Um, I went as Jack Burton from Big
Oh,
Trouble
he's
in
one of my
China.
all-time favorites. That was one of the
I love
few
Kurt
movies I
Russell.
ever memorized dialogue from. Once I like memorized the whole intro to that thing.
It's Jack Burton is just like
The check
basically
is in
it
the
was
mail.
yeah.
That was a great movie.
But it still holds its own as well,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
even
yeah.
now. But they were saying about doing a remake and having The Rock
That's
in it. I don't think they should touch it really.
no, it's just like why do you go it just I mean I know why because they want the cash grab but like
Yeah,
go redo some movies that are like Flash Gordon that never had a premiere like thing, you know what I mean, like remake something that's like don't go and try to redo like the ones that came out incredible, you know, it's like you're not going to get another Jack Burton out of it.
yeah. But you said it's Flash Gordon on its side, like the 1980s Sam Jones Flash Gordon. Over here, we absolutely love Flash Gordon.
Did you?
Brian Blessed as Voltan.
I
You
mean I
know,
loved it too, but it
Gordon's
was like
alive.
yeah.
We love that stuff.
See, I do too, though. It's funny, but here it got like no real reception. I
Yeah,
don't think back then.
yeah. Again, it's like one of those movies where they got the like marketing totally wrong for it, and it doesn't go anywhere. Or something happened, but there's probably a whole list of movies which you've watched them on like DVD or on like Netflix or something, and you think, well, how comes that didn't do so well at the cinema and all that sort of thing? And it's just basically like bad publicity, or there was like they haven't marketed it properly, or it may have been going up against something that was like the blockbuster.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that happens sometimes.
yeah, you put out those films and you just go like, yeah, it's not really going to work. Um, going up against like the one that's going to be like the Dwayne Johnston summer movie. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
always going to Fast and Furious 26. It's always going to struggle if you're going head to head.
yeah,
Squig.
yeah. I wanted to do this one. They had submitted it before, and I'm gonna. Oh, what did I just do? there's another one we're gonna see, but I still gotta get a bunch of stuff ready tonight. And are you role playing tonight?
Yeah, yep. We
Cool.
were going around continuing our adventures in small town USA somewhere. Yeah, yeah. I really am enjoying it. It's not like a well-known system or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
This month week game that we're playing, but I was Friday night. I was taking my boy to get his second COVID
Yeah.
vaccination shot, and whilst him and his mum was in the medical centre, me and my daughter was sitting in the car. She was playing games on her phone, and I was texting my mate Ben, who is the games master of this game, with some more sort of like ideas on the background of my particular character, which is it's basically remember Vincent from Beauty and the Beast, Ron
Yeah.
Perlman's character. Basically, I look like that,
Okay.
and my background that I've come up with it is that his race originates from ancient Egypt as a one of the lesser gods called Mahez
Gotcha.
or Mahes, who is like a lion god. So like
Oh
Bast
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Sekhmet, who are like cat and all that. He was like a god of like war and justice, and his children, where he procreated with like mortals,
Yep.
became these like cat, like lion people, and they're like obviously in hiding nowadays. But they still do the same job of sort of like going against sort of like evil intent and bringing justice and doing right and all that. So we was having this big conversation like via WhatsApp about these ideas and stuff, and it was like when you get that sort of investment into a character and it's like background story,
Yeah.
it's really enjoyable. It is part of the game.
Oh well, yeah. I
Doing
think, yeah, because it's painting the picture in your mind, and you start visualizing it more and more, and then the more you do something like that, the more it takes on personality. You start thinking about how would they react and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, because with the game as well, you have to have like connections with the other players as well. Which there's two characters who've just joined us the other week, so I haven't actually got any direct connections with them. But the ones that I chose with the original party
Yeah.
just kind of they just sort of fell into place, and it just seemed perfect to how they're connected. And one connection was affected by the presence of one of the other characters that I'd had a connection with, so it just tied in quite nicely with that. And you say it allows you to be a bit more creative with stuff. I just noticed that little dust cloud it's kicking up.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some of that. This is one I didn't have time to do, but I'm like, there was something with him leaping and kind of the light behind him. I was like, oh, I want to do something like add a bunch. The I want to put like, I don't know how to put it, like if with the correct angles you can kind of add energy to the image. You know what I mean? Like how he's running, you kind of force perspective, or the way the smoke. It's very much how like anime does it. I always love speed lines and stuff in anime when they're done right. Like
Yeah,
I in I don't know, in a lot of the old like manga too, man, their cities and how they used to do perspective and a lot of other stuff like that was really like beautiful. So I was always like trying to take, I always want to take the motion from manga, the the design aesthetic of like 40K, and then like the storytelling and stuff of comic books, and like put that all in one. It's like that's kind of like if you were saying like what do you like, I'm like all those jammed in one.
just to squeeze it in there, just put
Yeah,
your boot in, push it
it
all in.
doesn't work like that, but it should.
So Mal will be happy.
Yeah, they have. And Hal's been busy with a bunch of stuff too. I forget, it was the Slanesh he was working on, and he was getting quite a bit of that done. I think he might have been a commission too. I'm not sure.
You're
You
looking
got a
at
lot
maybe.
done on your Titan.
Yeah, but that's apart from when I was building during live stream, because as I say, I was busy talking with people.
Yeah.
And I was actually really quite exhausted by
Yeah.
because I just didn't realise it just gone on for so long. So, but it was fun. It was enjoyable. As I say, where everyone was like popping in, popping out, and joining back in, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I haven't had apart from the big ones. None of my little Titans has taken that long, and I hadn't even got it finished. So I did a bit more work on that, obviously, Sunday night, and then Monday night as well. Cracked on. I done very little Sunday night because I was quite tired from obviously the previous night, and
Yeah, you're on a busy schedule now. You got the work. You're doing this. You're like role playing.
Well, I like getting it all condensed into one day.
Yeah,
makes it easier. But no, as I say, like Wednesdays, it's like was a day that everybody could commit to for role playing anyway.
Yeah.
And obviously, when we started this, I weren't working, so obviously we were starting it earlier, and then we could get a good couple of hours.
Yeah, and if you ever need more time, I'm content with that. If we got to push it back another little bit or whatever, I'm good. So
yeah, as I say, it was just. I think today was just one of those days where it was just like everything was just coming in, and just one of those things, I guess.
I'm relaxed about all this stuff. The main thing is it's like have fun and get some people along who enjoy it and just have some fun with everyone.
Crimson, I should get a good shot of my Calidus assassin for you if you want to mess with perspective. There you go. I do love the assassins. The assassins in 40k are actually really, really quite good, and they can really add something to a game. I used to use them quite a few times against Callan when we were having our little games on the table, like table hammer, and because he would always go with like most of his armies are quite formidable armies.
So you need something that can take something out.
Yeah, well, with the Grey Knight, so that was the last time I fielded the assassins, and like when you've got like a Calaxus, which are like the anti-psyker ones, one of them is like 5 power levels, because we normally use power levels because it's easier to work out and get an army together. And one of them, and he can infiltrate, and then he gets bonuses against psychers. And when you're fighting Grey Knights, they're all psychers. So he just goes in there and like melts everybody. Vindicar
is interesting.
The Eversaw is my favourite. Eversaws are just mental.
Wait, which one?
The Eversaws is the one with the skull mask.
Okay, but they're not. Vindicator's the shooting one. Which one's that one?
So the Vindicar is the sniper rifle. Yeah. Eversaw has like an assault rifle and a sword on its back with this like human skull, grinning skull. The Calaxus is the anti-psycho, and he also has a skull mask, but it's like elongated with a big cannon at the side of its head.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
And then you've got the Calidus, which is like the feminine-shaped one. Yeah. They're fun because they're like polymorphs. So they use this drug and they can change their look and appearance. So you can actually deploy them in your enemy's units.
Yeah.
So when they sort of appear, they appear within like a couple of inches of one of their units, and then
Yeah.
you can like instantly go to work.
Deal a damage
shooting.
to someone.
Oh yeah, oh they're very nasty. I actually had one go close combat with a tank.
Yeah.
Didn't survive, but it did hurt it. Yes, hey Lou. Yeah, talking assassins. Mine's a proxy model. It's a Warhammer. Right, yeah. Now all the assassin models, like even like the older style ones, which you can still get from like like on eBay with the old metal ones, or the more recent like plastic ones from like Execution Force, which my Eversaw is one of the original sort of metal ones, but all my other ones are from Execution Force, which I bought individually for online. But yeah, no, they're really, really nice little models. And if you ever get the chance to do like a game where you have like an Inquisitor involved, and you can tie in having assassins. Assassins are just fun for all your killing needs. So Wolf Lord Lewis is Vindicare, one shot Rabute Gulliman. So,
That's another thing. I'm going to have to play some. Oh, wait. That's right. Crimson asked me if my Imperium email came in, and I didn't see it yet because I did that little subscription in the US. I think they're only sending the first 2 weeks or whatever. And, they said a thing, hey, we're doing a test run or whatever, so we're limiting it after the first 2 weeks. But I think that's like 5 models or something. So I want to see if that comes in. I'm like, all right, good. That'll be like test models. But some of them are pretty cool, and I'm like, all right, I want it. I think I'll try some stuff like on the Necrons, because it'll be a little simpler. I'll mess with some of those and then do like the Marine.
Yeah, the new Necron models are actually really quite nice. And as you saw when I was doing Necrons a few weeks ago, I sort of like I did sort of like whiz through quite a lot of them quickly. And you say just metallics, although some people that like I've seen some really awesome ones where they've done like ceramics for their armor.
Yeah.
Which is different and quite interesting to look at. Was a Wolf Lord. Was fun as when Rabute got rezzed. I used my second shot to shoot him again, and he technically counts as a different unit at that point. That's just pure mean. Funny.
I know. I have to see how everything works later with all how damage goes and everything and attacks and all that.
Yeah. It'll say like certain units, like when you're playing against elite units like Grey Knights, for example.
Yeah.
So they're hitting you with psychic powers in the psychic phase, and then they're shooting you, and like with their rules as well, they get to they only miss on a 1, but then they get a reroll. So it's like right.
Gosh.
And I had one of their characters had this like power hammer. It might have just been a straightforward thunder hammer, but whatever it was, he got 5 attacks, and the hammer done 3 damage per attack.
Oh wow!
And he hit one of my little Armiger Warglaves, and killed it outright. Basically, just like 15 damage. Bye. Just killed it.
Oh wow! I didn't know that's crazy. I didn't know how like armigers and that are in like how they perform in 40K. Like, what's their point value comparatively?
Well, against sort of if you're against normal rank and file, and even like certain light vehicles, they're quite nasty. With all their weapons.
I would assume they would be good at killing other vehicles, wouldn't they be? Like taking out dreadnoughts and stuff.
Yeah, well, obviously they're like the Warglaive, the normal Warglaives with their thermal lance is like a 30-inch long melter gun shot. So that's like strength 8. So it's one of the better ones. And if you're at half range, you get to double up on the dice roll, basically.
Okay.
So you can get more damage because closer you are, the more powerful it is. With like the auto cannons, you get a lot of shots. And they're a strength 7 actually, so you get a lot of shots and they can do a fair amount of damage. So, but most things will get a save against them, but against the thermal lance,
What? So let's use the example. Do you know this? If it's autocannon shot a Terminator, how does the Terminator save now?
the Terminator would just use its basic armor save, which is
Which is
2
what?
plus.
2+ on
2,
1d6, I assume, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So you roll your amount of hits, then obviously you do your saves.
Yep.
So you're rolling like I hit you 3 times out of 4. You roll 3 dice. If you get 3 2+, that's it.
Okay.
If you don't, then it goes to damage, and then I roll. I think it might be just a straight 2 damage, or it might be D3
no,
damage.
but okay. So I was just wondering how their armor saves. That makes sense then.
Yeah. So Terminators, like anything in Terminator armor's got a really good base save,
Yeah.
but they generally also have an invulnerable save as well. So
Yeah.
shooting them with a thermal lance, they wouldn't get their normal save of 2+, so they're rolling a 4+.
Yeah.
But they're only rolling 1 dice against your 1 hit. So, it's 4+ is still 50-50.
Yeah.
So it's not like the old days where Terminators were you roll 2d6.
3+ on 2d6, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it was harder back then. But then in the early days of Terminator armor, you could actually have upgrades to your Terminator armor and have it with a jump pack, which was silly.
Yeah. You can put I think with Terminators you could, because they're only allowed the 1 invuln save, but like sometimes you get the Terminator. They used to have like everyone would use like a displacer field because it would like pull them out of stuff if it triggered it, and then they had the power field. But I don't think you could use a power shield with the Terminator back in the day. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, obviously they've changed how like the Storm Shield works. It always used to be like a 3+. Well, in recent editions, it was a 3+ invulnerable.
Yeah.
Because normal Terminator armor was 2+ against most things, and then invulnerable save was 5+. But if they had a Storm Shield, it was a 3+ invulnerable. And that's the thing, is when you've got lots of like invulnerable save stuff, the only way you can really get around it is literally through sheer weight of fire, and just because it's the whole math hammer thing that goes on, where you because they say, well, how can like 20 Imperial Guardsmen kill a Terminator? Well, in like the storyland of 40k, that probably wouldn't happen. But when you've got 20 Guardsmen and they're doing rapid fire las guns, which I think rapid fire gives them like double the shots, or even they have like other things that allow them to do like 3 shots each or something, for example.
Yeah.
So you're getting like 60 shots coming in, and it's just pure dice rolling. Trying to get 62 pluses is going to be really hard. With a Wolf Lord, technically I can pull off 45 close call combat attacks with my chapter master. What? What? 45? As in 45, not 4 or 5, but 45. How? What? How? How?
What is a Tyrannid? Like, how many do they still have? They still have the Tyrannids with the swords. Remember those? Do they still have those?
Yeah, but with Hive Tyrants and Tyrant Guard. had like the bone swords and stuff.
Okay.
They don't look like the ones that you're probably remembering.
Okay.
They've evolved as the Tyranids do.
Yeah. True.
Actually, there was something somebody posted up the other day involving Tyranids, because with the lore, like the Tyranids have got all their hive fleets. So if you were standing back at the edge of the Milky Way looking in, you could see these tendrils of the hive fleets coming from below, from the sides, and from above, sort of thing. And from since they've turned up, they've caused chaos. Many worlds have fallen to Tyranids, and like even the Ultramarines almost lost their home world to Hive Fleet Behemoth when they attacked Macragge. And in this little thing that was posted up, he's basically saying that they're just vanguard of the main fleet.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. They're like not even the main fleet.
Yeah, and you're going, yeah, what?
Do you remember when they did that? Wasn't that like some interactive type thing where they were determining the fate of the world falling or not? Is that how that happened?
Oh no, this is recent. That thing about the main fleet is recent.
Okay.
But there's been like things in the past, like the worldwide campaigns.
Yeah.
You had the first one, which was the Black Crusade, back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Which at the time, it was when I just got back into the hobby, and I was playing as Tau Empire.
Okay.
And because the way it worked, they had like a website. You play your game, and then you'd go and submit. Like I think you could only have like one game a week.
Yeah.
That would register or something. So each week you'd register if you had a win, a draw, or whatever on this website. And so you had like Chaos fighting the Imperials for control of like the Cadia and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And all these little events were being kicked off, like the destruction of St. Josman's Hope when the Chaos unveiled its planet killer ship that went along and destroyed it. And like it had like a really major effect because everyone went, "Oh my god, they can blow up planets now!" In the game. And all the while that's going on, all the Tau players are playing their games, registering their victories and stuff. And at the end of the campaign, they was calculating everything up, and the Tau had got so many wins. They basically equated to the Tau Empire increasing its territory by a third. So it's like, you lot fight over there, and like I was fighting Chaos players, I was fighting Imperial players. So I'm taking points off of both those sides for the greater good, and we increased our territory holdings, which we were all like, woohoo! That was really good. But the one that you was talking about, I think, was Medusa 5, which was a couple of years after that, and they sold it as a planet is in your hands, and it will be destroyed if it loses. But it didn't really have the same sort of gravitas as the 13th Black Crusade, because you had so many people writing fluff for it. Like Graham McNeil wrote some bits for that into like they've done like a little codex for the 13th Black Crusade, a little crusade books. But that was it's a stuff of legend. That was, it really was a fun worldwide campaign thing. But it was very enjoyable. So, and it was thematic as well, because results were having an effect on the sort of ongoing story. So it's like,
absolutely.
I think that was where Ulfwid, the Eldar or Eldari, as I don't know, the Farseer of Uthwi, Eldrad. That's him, the Eldrad. He was killed off, or allegedly killed off. Story that him and his elder stormed a Blackstone fortress, and he fought some demon, and apparently he was like, "Oh, he's dead," but they brought him back. But
Yeah.
yes, Wolflord. Yes, back in those days, you could fire Death Strike missiles at various stores. Because in the rules, certain weapons have unlimited range.
Oh yeah.
You used to get Games Workshop stores phoning up other Games Workshop stores and saying, "Have you got a game going on at the moment?" "Yes, we have."
We're death
"Okay."
striking it. I remember someone talking about that somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you just phone up loads of other stores and say, "Yeah, you're being shot by a missile."
Oh, that's so funny. That would be cool.
Ross. What's this going on? Where's the love for Ian Watson? Ian Watson, who done some of the early sort of books, which I think he done Inquisitor, the one with Jack Draco, but he definitely done the Space Marine one, which was actually I really enjoyed that one. By today's standards, it's not in the same league, but back then, as I was a teenager still, technically,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That was really cool little story about the three sons from.
Yeah, and I was just talking about like with someone with movies, and it's kind of like some of this stuff. It's special in that time and place because there's not things like it. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of sci-fi, like way back in the 80s or even the 70s, there's not much of it, you know? So it's like, it's when you were that age and a fan of that stuff, you had to wait, you know, and it had to come out. It was one thing. So it's a lot different than now where you can just access everything, you know?
What's going on? Martin the Great Potato Mage. Hello, Martin.
Thanks for making it, Martin.
Apparently, if you've got the stream open before it starts, but you're doing other things, it doesn't start automatically.
Yeah, I goofed up how I
refresh it, didn't you?
Yeah, I goofed up how I was supposed to. I scheduled it ahead of time last week, but because I was running around a bunch today, I didn't get to like pre-schedule it. So that's another thing I'm putting on my list because it goes better, and then plus I kind of get the thumbnail with some of the images I'm going to do and use that kind of thing, and it's just one of those things I got to do more. I did notice I did a cursed city miniature because I wanted to see like how the YouTube algorithm works with something that's recent, and I could tell from the suggested or searched videos, you know, that was coming up more this week because everyone must have been searching it. So I was getting some hits on that. So it was interesting.
They're probably trying to find a copy for themselves.
Yeah.
Search everywhere.
Go.
It was about that Magic the Gathering. Now, I'll openly admit I've never really been a player of Magic the Gathering, and I was kind of put off it by at this games club I used to go to after work on a Sunday. There was this guy because there was a crowd of Magic players there.
Yeah,
and he was a weird kind of guy, you know, one of those guys that literally didn't have many friends, and he went to this place to try and make friends, but he just didn't know how to. But whenever he turned the card, as you call tapping, he used to go, "I'm tapping," like that, and he was just like, "Okay, thanks." But my favouriteest memory involving Magic the Gathering was, I think I might have mentioned it before, was at a Gen Con over here in Loughborough University back in 1996. And I and some friends were watching this, was in this auditorium because it was at Loughborough University. So you know those auditoriums where you all tiered seats, looking down where the tutor would be. And that's where they were doing this auction. And me and my friends were pretty much bladdered for most of the weekend. And we were in there and we were kind of being disruptive. We thought it was hilarious. and we probably were, because we were getting laughs, and we were sort of heckling a little bit. You know, we was like going, hang the hag and burn the witch, as you do. And they put a security guard to sit next to us to sort of quiet us down, which we weren't being, too disruptive. We were just being playful. But I was obviously picked out as the sort of the troublemaker, and they were doing this auction lot that came up where there was 2 simultaneous bids, and that was to either save I think it's the Black Pearl, or Black Lotus.
Yeah.
Black Lotus card, which was like a very rare, powerful magic card, or burn it. And so obviously you have lots of people trying to save it with their bids, and lots of people trying to burn it. And they actually included a third option, which was for me to eat it.
Yeah, and the Black Lotus, that one's still, I don't know, it used to be like the big, most expensive one and all that stuff for a while.
Yeah, I used to play collectible card games. Like I played Vampire the Masquerade was the one.
So did I played that one in Rage.
Yeah,
Rage. Werewolf. Yeah.
Because obviously like when you get doubles and people want to swap with you. I had this one card, the Ivory Bow, which was like this again, really good damaging weapon.
Yeah.
And my friend Paul said, "Look, what would you swap for the Ivory Bow?" So I went, okay, if you really want it, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that. And I got about 10 really good sort of cards, chainsaws and all these other things. And so here you go, right, we'll swap them over. And he was happy as Larry. And then I went into the shop, the comic shop, went in there, bought a booster pack and got another one.
Oh gosh,
she's a witch burner. That's exactly what we were saying. It was doing that and Brian Blessed impressions, because that was our drinking thing. It was
booster packs of opening all the booster packs and spending $1 billion and then not getting is like, oh my gosh.
I've actually got a box of the Elysium Vampire Masquerade Elysium set.
Oh wow!
But I've opened them. They're all in their packs. I haven't taken anything out. It's just that I opened them to look at them before realizing that I should have just left them in their wrappers. They'd be worth a fortune now.
Yeah. I wonder if I don't know if I still have any of my Rage or Vampire cards. I'll have to look them up.
Oh, my Rage ones I actually gave to Aaron Dembski-Bowden.
Did you?
Yeah, because he was talking about vampire werewolf, because he used to work with for White Wolf at one stage, and I was going through some of my stuff, and I had the Rage cards, and the artwork on them are just fantastic. It was probably sort of reminds me of the Sandman.
Yeah.
And I just messaged him one day. I said, "Look, we was talking on your thing the other day about werewolf and stuff like that. I've got all these cards. If you want them, you can have them." And he's gone, "Yeah." So I sent them over to him, and he has them somewhere, I'm sure, because they're just really nice to look at. I also had change cards as well, but that weren't as much as fun. It was all about vampire.
Yeah, I don't think I played any of the Changeling one.
I role played. I LARPed as a Changeling character once. That was interesting, especially when you go to a werewolf event.
Yeah, I should still have my Masquerade book and stuff. I'm gonna go look through that.
Yeah, no, I used to love doing Vampire Live role play. As I said on here before, where I used to be a storyteller for the Canarilla, which was the original sort of official group of role
Yeah.
players, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that was just so much fun. All these people from around, it was mostly around the south, like coming into London on a Saturday night sort of thing. Because as I said to you, if I like in London over the weekends, it's in the evenings, it's dead. Or even during the week, it's pretty dead in most areas.
Gotcha.
So you used to hire out a pub for peanuts because you'd be going down
okay.
and buying drink and food.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they've got 50, 60 people turning up. So it's like it's a good night to be open. There's no troublemakers because everyone's there to pretend to be a vampire or something.
Yeah.
Malkavians are the best vampires. Malkavians are interesting. I'll give them that. Never ever played a Malkavian. Never. I've always been. I started out when I started doing LARP. The first LARP I sort of after going around with swords over the forest was a vampire game, and I was playing an Assamite.
Oh yeah.
Got into that, and after sort of like with my group of friends doing it locally, we ended up going to other like places around London for games being held there by other groups and stuff. And at one game, there was 13 Assamites present, and we got a contract to kill this high-level Toreador Primogen, whose name was Julian Brackenberry.
You still remember the name? That's funny.
Yeah, we can't remember that. We can't forget that name.
Yeah.
And the guy who played it reminded me. Do you know Christopher Biggins? You probably don't. He's like an English sort of legend. This like lovey actor sort of thing.
He was I did. If it's someone like that, I'm sure I did. I would just have to see him.
Yeah, he was one of the background people in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Okay. He's a very camp gentleman. Well, he's gay anyway, but this guy looked and sounded like him, and he was all Toreadored up.
Yeah,
and we lured him to this stairwell, and we'd all obfuscated. So it was all like standing there like that, obfuscated. 13 people standing up these stairs. But the problem was we lured him in there, but he had majesty, and this guy went on a roll because it was like paper, scissors, stones.
Yeah,
beat him. Every one of us couldn't get past his majesty, and the one person who did, who was outside of the range of majesty, shot him, and he saved it. So it's just like, oh, great. So he basically survived being attacked by 13 Assamites, and if you survive an attempt by Assamites, that basically puts you on the "we won't hunt you again."
Yeah.
And he did, and all he did was basically survive. He didn't actually get hurt. He didn't inflict any damage because obviously, if he did, then Majesty would have gone down. So he just literally just stood there going, "I'm amazing," and we couldn't hurt him.
I'm so awesome. You can't do anything to me.
Yeah, but he actually got quite upset that somebody took a contract on him and he never returned to the game again. After that, that was like you had your own sort of like ticket. You would never be hassled by Assamites ever again. And
if you pulled that off, they would leave you alone.
Yeah.
I gotta remember.
I played a werewolf detective. Sorry.
Oh no, I won't be able to do it next week, but the week after, like the Monday their thing comes out, I'm gonna grab their photo for Games Workshops, and like this is one of their orcs they just released. So I was like, all right, let me try. I'm gonna take one of their pictures and then do a paint over and then put it on YouTube to try to see how the search algorithm type thing.
Experimenting, always experimenting.
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, okay, I take a bunch, and then I haven't ever like used anything that's like recent or you know what I mean, just come out. So I'm like, all right, I gotta try some stuff with that.
Yeah, I was just saying, like with Crimson doing his werewolf detective with a drinking problem. proper PI because they all have drinking problems.
Yeah, they like even werewolves would recover from the drinking problem, wouldn't they? A lot of them would. I don't know how much
Mm.
it would affect them in the game terms, but I'm sure you can get away with role playing anything like that.
Yeah, so like, with werewolf, I always used to sort of be drawn more towards the silver fangs. Um, I think, yeah, no. I played an Uctenna once, which was a bit odd because where we were obviously in England, you don't normally have a lot of Native Americans over here.
Yeah.
Um, so they said, like, well, explain to us how he's here. And my story was that he swam the Atlantic. Uh, he got kicked out of the Umbra and ended up in the Atlantic, and he swam and ended up here, and he earned the name Fish Speaker, which is a Dune reference, by the way. Because
Did they?
at the time I'd read and God Emperor Dune, and they had
What
Fish
did
Speaker
I?
cards.
Oh, I just saw. I was like, what did I see a preview of? I don't know how it went from Dune to this, but you said Dune, and I was like, oh, there hasn't been a preview of that, but I saw a preview of Ted Lasso. So that's coming out. I don't know, July 23rd or something like that. So that's
Cool.
coming out soon. I'm
I
looking
I
forward to
actually
that.
watched I actually watched Ted Lasso. Started it Monday night and finished it Tuesday morning. I just I was when I was doing my hobbying. I started
For sure.
about 9:30, and I was hobbying until 1, and I only had like 2 episodes left. So I watched the last 2 when I woke up.
I'm that's and because I've seen it already like twice, but I know I like that because that's sometimes a type of show where, especially since I've already seen it, I'll put it on in the background when I'm drawing. It's like, okay, catch some stuff, and so I'll end up watching it again just before it comes out, the new
Yeah,
season.
no, yeah, and it's quite easy to watch as well because it's just
Hmm.
so funny. Just watching it and enjoying it, and it's relatable for me because obviously being a football fan and
Yeah.
knowing that sort of what goes on in these sort of clubs and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's just like really enjoyable to yeah see Ted and Coach Beard. Um,
There's such a fun cast.
yeah, yeah, it's brilliant. I was wondering if because I was obviously after watching it again the other night, I was just wondering if Jamie Tart, if he was going to go back
I
in some
wonder, like,
form.
so I know they did two more seasons, so they signed for two more, so there's at least two more coming,
All right. Hmm.
and so they might do something like maybe Jamie Tart comes back for the third. You know what I mean? Maybe that's like the build up in the second. Who knows?
Yeah, but I would like to have Roy back as well, but obviously he can't play, so he'd have to be like a player coach or
Yeah,
some or coach or some sort. But Roy was, I can relate to Roy on so many
yeah.
levels.
Roy was a good one.
Angry he is.
I got to work on this one. This one's for a commission that I'm trying.
Orcals,
Yeah,
Oryx.
so it's kind of cool. Yeah, and I'll have a little background with some like shadowy orc army behind them. I have a couple more photos I have to try. I love. It's one of my favorite. Like, I mean, I guess that's a can one. Yeah, like the killer cans. I just love that design. Just the simple tube
Hmm.
kind of design, and it's a can. You put legs on and arms, and go orcs go.
There was also the because in the law, obviously, the more an orc fights, the bigger they get.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm just.
it would have been cool having some more sort of like like I know it's like they become like war bosses and like knobs and stuff, don't they?
Mhm.
So you do see a slight increase in their size
I
between
just
them and
noticed he has like I don't know what head is on here. It almost looks like a shark.
that's a Tyranid.
Oh, he does have the Tyranid on there, so
That,
that is a
that,
new.
it could be a
Oh, and he's
Carnifex
got the
head.
Tau. So he's got the Tau piece in the head, and he's got a space
Oh,
marine helmet.
sad.
Yeah, I just noticed that. How cool is that? So it's got the Tyranid. It has the space marine helmet. It's got the Tau stuff. There's probably Eldar stuffed on there somewhere.
Yeah.
How
I
cool.
don't. I don't like seeing like Tau as trophies.
Yeah, it happens. 40K is
Mhm.
grimdark.
Very grimdark. It's all the grimdark.
All the
Oh.
grimdark.
So
Well,
I still can't get over that the picture you done with my warlords. That's just
oh, I'm gonna look. I liked it. I thought it came. I was like, wow, it just worked out perfect with the colors on the gun and all that stuff. So
you kept in the one that he's treading on, which is even better.
I was gonna put some more little sparks and just clean up in front of there. So I got a little more to do on this, just to bump things and that. And then I'll try to get some title on there or something later. I want to get a title on there and kind of get it
Well,
printed.
I actually my four warlords that I have for my ignatum are the four horsemen. Um,
Okay.
and that is, I've always like when I was building up this thing, I thought I'm going to have four warlords and they're going to be the four horsemen, because one of them originally was going to be called the first horseman, but then because I name all my titans obviously,
Yeah.
but then obviously I've renamed them. So you've got at the far end you've got Veritas Vincit, which is Truth Conquers. Then you've got Ignis Rex, which is my version of one of the Games Workshop artworks. There's one standing there with a power fist, and
Oh yeah.
then next to that, the one with the big Gatlings on the shoulders
Oh yeah.
is Honorous Corsa, and that is a Titan from the book Storm of Iron.
Oh okay.
And then the last one, I've just forgotten what his name is.
Oh,
Oh,
the
the last
forgotten
one's Templar's
child.
Vengeance. How could I forget that? Templar's Vengeance, which
Okay.
is the miniature version of my 40k version Warlord,
Oh,
because
okay.
I copied it. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's a cool way to do it. That you could play that Titan in multiple different styles of game.
oh yes. I can't believe I've almost forgot my own Titan's name.
Yeah. What a good one. And then are we still on for next Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday, all
Good,
the
good,
Wednesdays.
good. Are you do you have any are you have any time this week? Are you going to do any more little live stream on yours?
Possibly, probably, possibly back on. It'll be Saturday night, if anything.
Gotcha.
If
Okay.
but yeah, obviously, if I do, I will like normally I will just put something on Twitter and just say, hey,
Yeah.
if you want to come out. There was some good response from that as well. Like people like just like dropping in and all that, and there was one guy who was watching and he was actually watching it all as well. So he's like just in the background listening to
Hmm.
the chat going on and stuff, or me talking about what's going on in the chat, um, repeating what people are saying. But and he posted up like hour free, and then I just mentioned that I hadn't actually done the weapons. He goes, oh, well, you didn't actually finish it in that time. I went, no. Felt really bad, but he was actually really good about it. So it's just like, yeah, sorry.
There,
I
it's.
would have continued, but I had work and it was like 10 past 1. And I thought, oh my God,
I
I got to
know
sleep.
that's. I can't. Power to you, man.
Yeah,
That's
it
not
would have
easy.
been easier. It would have been easier if you was on there like chatting along as well, because
Yeah,
like when you're doing that and I'm gassing, uh, you
that's the
could.
thing. It is. I do notice, like, so now I see the appeal of them, especially like if you're hobbying or you're doing something. It's like, oh yeah, I'll drop in someone's live stream. Like if I'm drawing and I saw someone on, I'm generally like, okay, yeah, I'll drop in and I'll draw and then chit chat with them or whatever. So I get the appeal of it now, but I notice for me and maybe for you. I think it's like with another person, you get a little bit of a break kind of deal. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, I got to go do this, and it's like, all right. So that definitely helps me. It's like, okay, it's a little more relaxed, and you don't, because I know your voice. You were on like for 5 hours. I was like, oh man, your voice is going to be so rough the next day.
Crimson's going to be there to bug me. Right.
Yeah, good.
Always welcome. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome here. Everyone's welcome there. So
Yeah, I saw Spencer Paints. Um, I had him on, and that's the other thing. I just have a busy, like, whatever, probably month or so coming up, but I want to get back, and probably a weekend show would work for me. I don't know what day, just to have a one with like random people over, and then you and I want to get us to, like, once in a while on the show have someone else on for like 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Have so I want to do that in the show so we can kind of have a guest, for whatever reason, and ask questions and stuff. So I think I'll take a bit to kind of plan that out, but maybe it's like the person we're doing a paint over for, have them on, they can talk about it or whatever, talk a little hobby, and then go from there. Like, I think that would be, I know I enjoy it, but it's like I'm still getting used to what it takes to set it all up and get the stream right. Because the the thing is, like, having the right thumbnail up pre-time and having it scheduled ahead of time, that all makes a difference with viewers. So it's like, oh gosh, if I'm doing this, why don't I actually try to get the viewers by scheduling it, and you know what I mean, do the right thumbnail and all that good stuff. So I'm still in the process of cleaning all that up, get a
yeah,
get a little system down.
we had that when Matthew joined us.
Yeah, and I
So
liked it, and that was very impromptu.
it was all fun.
I know I
So
did.
it's a very relaxed atmosphere here. There's no pretentiousness or
Yeah, no,
airs and
that's
grace.
one thing I don't dig on pretend. Like, to me, it's like life's so short. I don't need fake people, or you know what I mean. It's like I don't care. I want to have some fun. I don't care if you think I'm the greatest artist or any of that stuff. Like, just have fun because it's a short trip.
For a second, I thought you actually had like some sort of like lightning effect going on. Like so, it was like a little GIF. So you look at the picture and suddenly like
Yeah.
strikes in the background or something.
Oh, I should put some lightning in this one. That's actually a good idea.
Well, I have them occasionally.
Yeah, I didn't think that
Few and
is.
far between.
That's a good one because it'll break up the smooth background. I'll get some jagged kind of lines in there. That's something I'll end up working on when I just go to finish this one. I'll put a little kind of lightning in there and stuff. And that's the thing with these. I always like when I pause on them for a while. It's like, okay, do these last little touches and this and that, and clean some things up. Someone I think it was Jade Bullet, I believe. They got this print in the mail just the other day because they had ordered the one. So I sent that one out to them, and they got it and liked it. I was like, thank God. I get so nervous, and I still run the test prints. I gotta, it's weird with the test prints because they're expensive, and I got it down, and I'm trying to gauge out um what, like, how often I have to run them and why. So now I've been doing it like all the time, but I notice I only need it on certain times, like, and I'm starting to learn, okay, when I paint it this way, make sure you run the test print, because the darks on this, the stuff comes really dark because obviously a screen is light coming through and you don't have that light. But I was surprised how close the prints are. And I noticed if I lighten a dark one about 3% is when it pretty much prints perfect. Then, it's like if something like this is a little dark, I lighten it just a few percent. Oh, you can see, like, here's that version, and then here's the slightly lighter version.
Oh yeah.
And that one prints basically like this one looks. You know what I mean? So
Oh right.
it
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
lighter in this, but because of the ink on the screen and all that, it basically looks
Yeah.
like this. And so that was kind of the main reason I even bought the printer. I'm like, I can't, like, I don't want to, like, release, if something's printed, I don't want it hokey or whatever. You know what I mean? I want a nice, clean print because someone's paying for it and whatever. So I
Of
want to
course.
buy the printer so you can experiment yourself and see.
It's all tools at the end of the day. Help you,
Yeah,
produce stuff like that for people to hang on walls, and that's what you want to see is like have the guys when they do a commission them for a print, and then you see them like take a picture of it
yeah.
framed on the wall. That's the real big kicker.
There was one Loopy. I'm trying to find it. I forget. I know it was Loopy, but I forget the rest of the Twitter name. But it was one I really had. I'm trying to find it. It was the flying one. Oh, this one. And he bought a print and he put it in his gaming room, and his gaming room is so
Oh,
cool, and he had it hanging on the wall, like it was framed hanging on the wall with all these other cool prints. And then it was like a done up gaming room, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it was just so cool to see. And I get a kick out of it, because it's partly my stuff, but to me it's like, oh man, it's like this is your model like on your wall in the action, to me it's just cool, like that's what I want.
I can't believe he done that to a Thunderhawk transporter.
I know. And Loopy was one I had on, and I believe it's Loopy. Apologize if it's not, but and I wanted to have him on again. Like it was a lot of fun, and he had like good perspective on stuff and some crazy things. And I know that this thing is like hardcore. I loved the little like Gretchen on the wings and the little pods. I just love it.
Gretchens and Snotlings are just, I love them.
Now, what is and I should know this because they were all out. What is the difference between the Snotlings are even smaller, right?
Yeah, basically size. Yeah, so you get the Orcs pick on the Gretchen, even though the Gretchen are probably smarter than an average Orc.
Yeah,
The Orcs pick on the Gretchen pick on the Snotlings.
yeah. And so wait, is it Gretchen or it's Snotlings that get fired through the
Well,
whatchamacallit
the
shock
Gretchens get
attack
called
gun, right?
Grots. Grots are Gretchen. So they just basically have two names.
Okay, so the Grots are the Gretchen that get fired through the shock attack gun, not Snotlings, right?
No, that's the Snotlings. Snotlings go through the shock attack gun.
Okay.
But no, Grots are like the technicians
Yeah.
and
Okay.
engineers. So,
Yeah. That's
like,
right. I always remember they're the ones with always the tools fixing all the stuff while the orcs fought.
yeah,
Yeah.
and some of the best things from Forge World are actually Grot tanks. It was like a
Yeah.
little pack. You get 4 little Grot tanks that were piloted by Grots.
Oh,
So
I think I might have seen them. I didn't know they were from Forge World though.
yeah,
Interesting.
Grot tanks. But there was also they done another thing was like a land battleship, which was a huge truck, like a war truck, basically with all the bits and
Yeah.
pieces, bells and whistles on it, sort of thing.
I had the
Grots.
original battle wagon, but that was another miniature that never got put together.
Yeah, oh, there were so many now, and all the different additional bits. Oh, hello, the Malifaux crew.
Yeah. This is the same one. That's it dark, and then I lighten it up a little bit before print.
Hmm.
And then that way you see it's like then it comes in that way. What did Martin say? Dust cover for my army book and definitely a few posters and frame for the game room.
And we buy our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a guy, Martin, who can hook you up.
Oh, you're such a dealer.
I gotta, and there's some of these, and after whatever the month goes through, I gotta do I want to do some of the booklets. So I'm like, and then I gotta get like I want to make some stickers and just it's fun stuff. I'm gonna do a couple different shirts. What did Martin say? Hey Lee, I own precisely one orc vehicle. I converted a truck into Fab One.
Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds are good. It was Fab One. That wasn't that Penelope, Lady Penelope's pink Cadillac. Well, it was like not a Cadillac, but it was a yeah. So it was driven by an orc chauffeur in a chauffeur's hat, and it's pink. You definitely have to put that onto Twitter and tag me, please. I'd love to see that.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's certain vehicles with certain things like the big one that so many people wanted to see happen was the Gene Stealer limousine. The Gene
Oh
Stealer
yeah,
car.
I had that. I was looking at that white dwarf when it first came out a while ago. Like I had it in my stack, like right over here. The old limo for him.
Yeah, it's proper pimp.
Mm.
All right. Well, it's time for me to depart, my friend.
Right on. Thanks for another show. Thanks for joining us all. Lee, you get out there and save the world in a storytelling format.
That's all I can do.
Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to save the alternate realities. And
Exactly.
thanks for joining us all, and we will see you next week.
Yes. Take it easy, everyone. Lovely to see you all, and auf Wiedersehen, my friends.
Bye bye.